What would you do if you discovered your own family stole $500,000 using your name? I'm talking about the people who raised you, who were supposed to protect you, who claim to love you unconditionally. Well, stick around because what happened next will blow your mind. Picture this, you're having a completely normal day, maybe scrolling through your phone, when suddenly your entire world gets flipped upside down by a single phone call. That's exactly what happened to me on what started as the most ordinary Wednesday afternoon of my life. I was just settling down with my coffee when my phone rang. Unknown number. We all know that feeling, right? That little twist in your stomach when you see a number you don't recognize. But something told me to answer anyway. Big mistake, or maybe the best decision I ever made. Is this Emily Carter? The voice asked. Professional. Cold. The kind of tone that immediately puts you on edge. When I confirmed it was me, he dropped the bomb that changed everything. This is regarding your overdue mortgage balance of $523,000. Hold up. Let me pause right there. $523,000. For a mortgage. On a house I didn't own. I was living in a tiny one-bedroom apartment, driving a car that was older than some of my coworkers. I couldn't even afford to buy name-brand cereal, let alone a $500,000 house. But here's where it gets really twisted. The bank had all my information. My full name, birth date, social security number. Everything. And according to them, I had signed for this massive loan 3 years earlier. 3 years ago, that timing rang a bell. That's when my younger sister Jessica had been house hunting, complaining constantly about not being able to afford anything decent. Now, let me paint you a picture of my family dynamics. I was always the responsible one. You know that role, right? The one who never caused trouble, never asked for help, just quietly handled everything while everyone else got to be the star of the show. Jessica was the golden child who could do no wrong, even when she was clearly doing everything wrong. After that phone call, I spent the entire night staring at my ceiling, pieces of a horrible puzzle clicking together in my head. All those family dinners where Jessica would show off Pinterest boards of dream houses. All those conversations where my parents would hint about family helping family. All those times they called me the strong one who didn't need support. The next morning, I did what any rational person would do. I called the bank back and demanded to see the paperwork. And folks, when that email came through with the mortgage documents, I've never felt anything quite like that moment. There was my name, my information, and my signature. Except, it wasn't actually my signature. I know my own handwriting better than anyone, right? Every little curve, every shaky line when I'm nervous. This signature was too perfect, too practiced. It was like looking at a really good forgery of yourself. Someone had studied my signature and recreated it well enough to fool a bank, but not well enough to fool me. At that moment, I realized something that changed me forever. This wasn't just about money. This was about my own family treating me like I was disposable. Like my future, my credit, my entire financial life was something they could just borrow without asking. But here's what really gets me. I didn't immediately storm over there screaming and throwing accusations. You know what I did? I waited. I planned. I gathered evidence. Because sometimes the quietest response is the most devastating one. Sunday dinner came around like it always did. Same routine, same faces, same pretense that everything was perfectly normal. I sat there listening to Jessica complain about her mortgage payments, watching my parents fawn over her like she was doing something incredible by simply existing. And the whole time, I'm sitting on this nuclear bomb of information. Finally, after dinner, I asked the most innocent question in the world, Does anyone know anything about a mortgage with my name on it? The silence that followed was deafening. You could literally hear the clock ticking on the wall. Jessica started fidgeting. My mom's smile cracked. My dad suddenly became very interested in his beer bottle. And then, they tried to justify it. Can you believe that? They actually tried to make me feel bad for being upset about identity theft. It's just paperwork, Jessica said. It's not like you're actually paying anything. My mom chimed in with, it's family, honey. Jessica just needed a little help qualifying. Just paperwork. $500,000 of debt attached to my name was just paperwork. But you know what? Their casual dismissal of my feelings, their complete lack of remorse, their assumption that I would just roll over and take it, that's what sealed their fate. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I just said, thanks for explaining, and went home. But behind my calm exterior, I was planning their downfall. The next morning, I met with a lawyer who specialized in mortgage fraud. When he looked at my documents, his exact words were, you understand this is criminal, right? Identity theft. Fraud. These aren't just family disagreements, these are actual crimes. That's when I knew I had them. I filed a police report. I disputed the loan officially. I started legal proceedings to remove my name from everything. And the beautiful part. I didn't warn them. I didn't give them a chance to prepare or make excuses. I just let the system do its work. 3 days later, my mother showed up at my door, furious and panicked. She actually had the nerve to ask how I could do this to the family. I looked at her calmly and said something I'll never forget, family asks. They don't steal. Then I closed the door in her face. The legal process took months, but it was so worth it. The bank suspended the loan and apologized. Jessica lost the house she was so proud of. My parents' perfect family image crumbled. And me? I finally found peace. Here's what I learned through all of this. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones who claim to love you. Sometimes walking away isn't giving up, it's saving yourself. And sometimes the quietest revenge is the most powerful one. I didn't need to scream or fight or demand apologies. I just had to stand still and let the truth do its work. And you know what? That was infinitely more satisfying than any dramatic confrontation could have been. Today, I'm living my life on my own terms. I'm not carrying anyone else's weight. I'm not cleaning up anyone else's messes. I'm not the invisible daughter anymore. I'm free. If you're dealing with toxic family members who think they can use you, remember this, you don't owe anyone your future, your peace, or your silence. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. What would you have done in my situation? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about family, boundaries, and finding your strength. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for what's coming next.